doctors in British Columbia can now prescribe their patients nature. Nature is a prescription, and nature can be a cure. But seriously, this is an effort to encourage Canadians to take advantage of Canada's national parks in an effort to help with both their mental and physical health. PaRx Canada said that it was joining the National Nature Prescription Program, known as PaRx, very clever, or a prescription for nature, which aims to get patients into nature for a minimum of 2 hours per week. I would say increase it. Now, minimum of 2 hours per week is obviously great. There is a financial incentive here as well. So healthcare professionals in British Columbia, Ontario, Saskatchewan can now prescribe a PaRx Canada Discovery Pass worth over $70 to a patient. The pass, which pays for itself in roughly 7 visits, offers unlimited admission for a year at over 80 national parks, national historic sites, and national marine conservation areas, territory that altogether covers more than 450,000 square kilometers of land and water.
Isn't that cute they use kilometers in Canada?
Very sweet.
Okay, yeah. So does this make sense? Sure, of course it does. We belong in nature. I don't know if you know this, we're monkeys. And we put on clothes and makeup and make ourselves believe that we have some sort of cosmic meaning, but in reality, we're apes. And so when we go in the woods and we walk around in nature, we like it because that's where we belong. And where we don't belong is inside a little cave looking at screens all day long, and screens that are sending you messages oftentimes to get angry and to get depressed and to compare yourselves to others, right? Until you drive yourself crazy. Get out there and see nature. You're supposed to.
Absolutely. No, but nature really is healing. Like, I remember going to places like Joshua Tree. I mean, the year where I was like experiencing the most anxiety and depression and stuff, I kept going camping, and it was really the only time when I felt better. You know, and it just kind of like, for me personally, what nature does is it reminds you that despite any chaos or terrible stuff you might be experiencing in your own personal life, like all of that feels so ugly and so terrible. But it's kind of crazy to see like all this beauty around you that just continues despite what you might be experiencing. Like, that was the thing that really stood out to me about nature, that like we take it for granted. First of all, it's all around us, and there's a lot of beauty in it that we should be appreciating and loving.
Yeah, and the story explains that there's actually clinical studies that show that it does help on issues like depression. So it's not just our anecdotal experience with it, but nonetheless, I'll give you one more anecdotal story. I started taking walks during the COVID era, just in my neighborhood. But you know, we live in LA, it's kind of a pretty place, right? There's palm trees and beautiful flowers. And what's funny about LA is that so many things look like they're right out of the movies. Because they're right out of the movies, that's where they're shot, right? They're shot all around here. So even if it wasn't that house or that park where the movie was shot, it was one that looks a lot like it down the street where they shot it, right? And so it looks kind of idyllic. Now, everybody's got a different situation. In Canada, they have all those gorgeous parks. I'm so envious. I'd love to live next to one of those parks. But we do the best we can with our neighborhoods. And I tell you all that because this morning I went for a walk, and I paused and looked at one particular scene with like these gorgeous trees and palm trees and flowers and stuff. And I thought, look, we get used to every environment that we live in, and then we kind of baseline there. And we assume, okay, that's what normal is. And now, so in order for me to be happy, it's gotta be way above normal. But that doesn't make any sense. I thought to myself, 98% of the world would love to see a view like this and think like, oh my God, that looks like it's out of the movies. It looks amazing, the weather's great, right? And it's gorgeous. But I bet you almost nobody in that neighborhood thinks that because they've lowered the baseline.
My favorite thing in the world is how much wealthy people spend on landscaping, because they want their home to have curb appeal, right? Which, God bless, go forward, as Cenk would say. And they don't appreciate it, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, if my neighbors, I tell them all the time. There's this elderly couple with a beautiful garden that smells really nice. And I love walking by it because of the smell. And so one day I saw them coming out of the house, and they actually walk around the neighborhood all the time, but I didn't know it was them. And so when I saw them, I was like, who is responsible for this garden? Okay, and the lady's like, me, why? And I'm like, do you know how good it smells? And she's like, yes.
Nice.
She felt so validated. And I'm like, but you're not imagining it. It does smell great. And thank you, because I walk by here all the time.
No, the spring is the best, right? When everything just awakens and you see the flowers beginning to bloom. You smell jasmine in the air. Like there are several homes that have jasmine in like the neighborhood I like to walk around in. And it's just like, and then lavender. There's so many different types of lavender. Did you know that? Lavender's amazing. It smells good and it's beautiful, beautiful purple colors. Like nature's amazing. And look, it's one thing to experience nature in a densely populated place like Los Angeles, but I look at these photos and come on, how do you not feel the wonder? Like it's just so gorgeous. And like it also, of course, reminds you that we gotta protect this planet, man. We gotta protect that beauty, not just so we can enjoy it, but so future generations can also live in it and enjoy it as well.
When I see spring coming, I look around and I see the lavender, and then I look and I go, is that blue I see? That's an old school reference to a poem I wrote, don't ask. But yes, I mean, it's one thing to walk around in a suburban neighborhood, right? My God, if you live in near the parks, go, go, go. In fact, in terms of blue I see, that first picture we showed you looked like Lake Louise, which funny enough is in Canada. And Lake Louise is gorgeous. Go see right there. I don't know if it is Lake Louise, but it looks like it. And you should go check that out in Canada. And all of these places, the third picture, this one reminds me of Wyoming.
Love it.
Wyoming, the most underratedly purple state there is. I don't mean in terms of politics, I mean in terms of like you go and there's purple everywhere in Wyoming.
Really?
Yeah, it's weirdly gorgeous.
Purple flowers?
Yes.
Oh, okay, nice.
Like everything is purple. It's kind of amazing. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.